Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Lost Luggage. I'm your host, Big Walt. Today we're in a Diamond DA62 by the developer Aerobask here in Xplane 12. And this airplane, I tell you what, guys, if you ever have the ability to fly one or fly in one, take it. These airplanes are badass. I've never flown in one, but I have seen one on the ramp and some way, somehow, I'm going to become a millionaire and afford this airplane. It is an expensive airplane, but worth every freaking penny. Um, Jet fuel powered, diesel powered. Um, it's just badass. I mean, just everything from the Mercedes-Benz gull wing doors to just like the just very modern looking engine nacelles to the modern tail. Just a just an all around gorgeous airplane. I picked this airplane up on the recent 4th of July sale. Been eyeing it up for a while, and when I went onto the org store, and I'm like, yeah, let's see what the sales are, and this was the first airplane that popped up. I'm like, yes, ma'am. So I've been flying it around. It's a very fun airplane to fly. It's very smooth. Um, So, on today's flight, today we're going to be flying from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, or as the locals call it, Newcastle, over to, let's go over to Clearfield, PA. It's about a 150-mile trip in a 170-knot airplane. It's about 45-minute flight, if that, depending on what our winds aloft are. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing this flight together. I'm doing very, very poor flight planning. Today is just we're going 150 miles away. Fill her up, bud. That's really my flight planning today. I just know that Clearfield is from Newcastle. It's about due east, um, roughly. We'll just throw it in the Garmin cockpit and yeah, follow the. Today we're going to be a child of the magenta line. Okay, you know I'm a very analog guy. I love needles. I love the old school stuff. But today we're going to be a child of the magenta line and follow the magenta line. Why? Because I got to go to work. So let's hop on in and get this show on the road. We didn't really need the passenger door open, but I wanted to show you guys that Mercedes-Benz. Look, oh, I just love this airplane. By the way, if I ever can come across a real Mercedes-Benz Gullwing, I don't know if I want an aluminum body or a steel-bodied one. But everybody needs a Mercedes Gullwing. So here's my Mercedes Gullwing, and it has wings. All right. All right, so first things first, engine master's off, fuel pump's off, throttle's idle, gear is down, flaps are up, fuel is off. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and master switch on. We can go ahead and open up our fuel valves. Block those so we can't turn them off. Alrighty. And there's that booted up. Looking at our engine instruments here, oil temp is reading, oil pressure is, we don't have the engines on, so that should be nil. Fuel, we've got plenty of fuel to make it, and our, fuel temp, all right. Now, one thing I will say about this airplane, and we'll get it fired up before the battery dies, don't worry. In the real world, the Diamond DA62 is a pressurized airplane, and uh, definitely will fly into the high teens, if not the low 20s. Um, I don't know if the Aerobask version modeled the pressurization, but it's a very simple pressurization system. The way the pressurization system works in the DA62, it's very automated. It just keeps a cabin altitude of 8,000 feet. That's it. There's nothing to adjust or anything like that. But I don't know if Aerobask modeled that. I'm trying to read through the documentation. I can only get through about, 5 minutes of documentation before my ADD kicks in, and I don't even remember what it is I was looking. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get our left engine started up. We shouldn't need our aux pumps today. All right, engine master 1 is on, fuel on, alternators are on, and our voter switches for the engine control units are both set to auto. All right, torpedo loaded, fire 1. Ooh, listen to that diesel engine fire up. If you can hear it. Like I said, I'm having audio issues. I apologize, I haven't made a video in a minute. I'm having problems. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, yep, glow plug on, fuel on. All right, got fuel pressure and fire 2. Fired up already. I don't really know how well you guys can hear this. I've been having terrible audio issues, like, you know, 1 minute everything's fine and the next minute everything's just blown out of proportion. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm new at this. I don't. If anybody that watches this that knows about video and audio capturing, I'd love to chat with you, because I'm trying to figure this out on my own, and it's having a bad time, you know, just having a bad time. So it's going to be what it's going to be. Hopefully you guys can hear those diesels. All right, we can go ahead and turn our fuel pumps off. Engine master stay on, avionics master coming on, let these fire up. Our engine gauges that were over here disappeared, but they'll pop up over here once this screen turns on. Hit enter, because I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, this is just a really nice cockpit. Now, like I said, I'm an analog person, okay? I really hate computers, I really do. You know, I like simple, and to me, analog gauges are simple. All right, we'll go ahead and set our barometer to 300 inches of mercury. We'll set this one to 300 inches of mercury as a backup instrument. There's that. Come over here to our navigation. We're going to hit the direct to. I don't know what Clearfield's identifier is. Okay, FIG. FIG. Where's F? Okay, I gotta zoom in here, see what's going on. N. Okay, let's go the other way. F. I'm sorry, I guess I don't know my alphabet. FIG. Yeah. Don't know the alphabet, but they let me fly airplanes. Isn't life great? Activate. Alright, let's look at the top here. To the FIG airport, desired track rather is 098 degrees, and our current heading is 330. So, oh hey look, heading's already set to 098 degrees, course 098, and if we zoom in here, you can see it's tracking the GPS and en route. Okay, so that works. Transponder is 1200 and off. Let's just go ahead and throw this over to alt. Why not? And we can go ahead and turn our pitot heat on. It's not going to hurt anything. It doesn't burn out, so we are good to go. Hey, look down here. What's this? Oxygen pull. You know what? I think I'm going to read in the documentation more, because if this is pressurized, we're going to do a flight some point in the near future. Throw our strobe lights on. See, this is my ADD kicking in now. See, I don't have ADD. I have ADOL. ADOL is attention deficit. Ooh, look! What were we doing? Oh, pressurization. So, if this airplane is pressurized and it's modeled, we're going to do a flight. Oh yeah, that's happening. I mean, this airplane is just awesome. It's just awesome. And we're getting ready to move. All right, we're headed over here. I don't see anybody. Remember, clear left, clear right. Nobody's coming from the right, nobody's coming from the left. All right, let's start taxiing this thing. We're going to taxi out to runway 5. What's this on the screen here? Why is that popped up to megahertz, kilohertz, whatever? I don't know what's going on. See, this is why I don't like computers, okay? I like analog because analog is all on-off switches. It's simple. Computers are very, we know you're getting ready to take off, but would you like to renew your Microsoft Office 365 subscription? No, I would not. I would like to fly an airplane. Would you like to upgrade to Windows 11? I know your engine's on fire, but we really need to after you upgrade to Windows 11 before we can fly. Like, no, I want to fly. I want to survive. I want to live. Okay, that's done. Coming up to a runway here, runway 3113. By the way, we are on the VATSIM network, so we might actually see other traffic today. Nobody's coming on the approach end. Newcastle traffic, Diamond 62 is crossing runway 31, Newcastle. Technically, when you're crossing a runway, you should put all your lights on, make you the most visible you can be. But honestly, it's daytime. We're a giant white airplane on the runway. If you can't see us, how on God's green earth did you get your medical to fly? You know? Okay. There's that. Or if you can't see over your instrument panel, number one, how are you landing if you're not like doing the P-51 side slip or something? Like, what, do you fly your airplane and just hope for the best? I swear it's what some people do, it seems like. And we're not really gonna do an engine run up today. We are gonna hold the engines at like 50% power. I don't know what the real world procedure is for the DA62. I do know you are supposed to, I believe, hold 100% power and do an ECU test. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what you do. I'm not gonna do that, and here's why. Our engines are running. I don't want to upgrade to Windows 11. I don't want to renew my Microsoft Office 365 subscription. I hate computers. So we're just going to leave it as it is because our engines are running. They're not broke. So we're not going to go fixing stuff. Okay? We're just going to go fly. Also, I got to get to work, so our engine's in the green. Okay, oil temp, green. Oil pressure, green. Coolant, green. Fuel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, everything's green. Let's go. Newcastle traffic, Diamond 968 Delta Tango, DA62 taking off runway 5, eastbound Newcastle. We'll go ahead and get our landing and taxi lights on, and nobody coming on the approach end, and nobody coming the opposite way. All right. Alright, and here we go. We're going to do a flaps up takeoff, trim is set. Yellow caution messages are up, that's fine for takeoff power. This airplane just flies so nice. And here we go. Positive climb, gear up. Go ahead and get our engines out of the yellow, like that. Alright. And clearing over to the right. Nobody's out there, so we're going to turn, and nobody's coming off of our left either. Check over our shoulders. Yep, nobody's out there. And also, if you are a real-world pilot, NGA, watching this channel or whatever, laughing at me being an idiot making videos, I do want to hammer home the point. Fly safe, guys. And I say that to say this, okay? Would anybody like to take a guess as to when most mid-air collisions happen? Hey, the hint's right in front of you. Clear, beautiful days is when most mid-air collisions happen. And for a number of factors. One, you know, there's not really any backdrop. There's no clouds to show black dots anywhere. It really is possible for airplanes to just come out of nowhere. And, you know, clear view day, it's very easy to get into a relaxed mindset, which is very complacent, very nothing's gonna happen. But it's like right now, you know, it's like, I really wonder how many people think, okay, if I had a problem right now, let's say engine 1 catches fire, whatever, okay, where am I gonna go? Obviously, we just took off, so Newcastle's where I would go for that. But, you know, it's, for every leg of your flight, like, where's the nearest airport? If my engine failed right now, let's say both engines failed, what would be the game plan? And I get that, you know, there's the emergency procedures, I get it, like, okay, you know, nose on the horizon, best glide, blah, blah, blah. But realistically speaking, what is your game plan? Right now, my game plan's Newcastle. We just took off. Still nobody around. And that's the other thing, too, is just because nobody's talking on the radio doesn't mean nobody's out there. Because you got people that they don't talk on the radio. There's some airplanes that don't even have radios, like Piper Cubs, possibly Aeronca Champs. I don't know if the Aeronca Champ has an electrical system in it or not. I don't know. Taylor Crafts, yeah. There's airplanes out there that aren't talking on the radio. So how do you know somebody's not up in their Piper Cub right now and they're about to smack India? And you just don't know it. But we're also a Diamond 62, man. We are climbing to the moon. Look at this. We're already above 4,000 feet and we just took off. This airplane is just so freaking cool. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. We'll just go up. It's a nice smooth day. We'll just go up to 5,500. It's not a very far flight. Like I said, I gotta get to work, so the sooner we can get our ground speed going here. We'll reduce our power just a little bit more because our oil temp's starting to, you can see our oil temp here on the top starting to get a little bit warm. And I feel like it should be a little bit closer to center. But, and that's another thing too with the Diamond 62 is that these engines are liquid cooled. That is so cool. I mean, in the real world, like, you know, I really do like simplicity. Air-cooled engines, fixed pitch propeller, fixed landing gear, means cheaper maintenance. You want to spend more money flying. You don't want to spend money fixing your airplane all the time. Especially Bonanzas. Bonanzas are very on the landing gear maintenance heavy. Same thing with the Cessna 210. The Cessna 210 more so than the Bonanzas, but still, long story short, the more stuff your airplane has, the more stuff there is to fix. And it's just annoying. I want simple. I don't have to worry about too much. You know, once a year at annual, a couple things pop up, we get it fixed, and I'm good to go. I don't need to wait on parts. I don't need to, oh, well, we're waiting on Beechcraft to get back to us. We're waiting on Mooney to get back to us. We're waiting on Sears to get, well, Sears is, you know, they're a whole nother breed on their own. But still, long story short, simple is good. But for a Diamond DA62, there's just something about like the complexity of everything that it's so weird how it just complements the airplane. And doing another clearing around us. Nobody's about to hit us. And that's another thing I want to drive into is clearing traffic in the real world. It's not a once and done thing, okay? You're constantly clearing. Like even already, how do we know another airplane didn't pop up there? How do we know there's not like a, you know, like a Beechcraft Duke or something doing 200 knots? Oh, that really shot up there. But there's 5,500. So we'll go ahead, and our airspeed's increasing. So we'll go ahead and start introducing some nose down trim. And that's the other, just a quick hand flying tip here. You couldn't really hear it in my other video. But when you are hand flying an airplane, you don't use the pitch trim to hold an altitude. You use pitch trim to hold an airspeed. What you do is, a lot of people get this wrong, especially, and I get it, you know, most people on the sim, they're not real pilots. They weren't trained like pilots. I get it. But a little trick of the trade is use your pitch of the airplane, nose up, nose down, to control your airspeed. And then to control your altitude, you use your engines. Use your thrust. Remember, power controls altitude, pitch controls airspeed. Like right now, I want to be cruising at 5,500. I don't need to adjust the power. You know, we're only 60 feet below where we want to be right now. So just ease off the front pressure on the stick a little bit, and it'll get us up there. Maybe. There it goes. I was about to say, this airplane's calling me a big fat liar right now, and I don't appreciate that. But you can see, like, I'm not even really moving the controls, and you can see, you know, we're just easing our way up to 5,500. I mean, it's very, very small inputs. And we'll just give a couple taps on the trim there to level out our airspeed. So, see right here, there's nothing I can really do on the trim anymore, but as you can see, you know, the airplane does want to keep going up a little bit. So what we can do, reduce our power a little bit, and it levels out quite nicely. Oh, not what I wanted to do. Alrighty. There's that, our ground speed. What is our ground speed right now? We're only, look at that, guys. We're already almost like halfway through our journey. Ground speed of 172 knots. Wow. Alright, I'm having a little bit of a fun time here holding altitude. And part of it is I'm really just not familiar with glass cockpits that much. You know, like, so what's going on right now is this is our altitude strip. This is our vertical speed strip here. I'm used to seeing needles, these bars moving and off, like my eyes. And I'm not gonna lie, like, there could be a little bit better contrast, especially when, like now when we're flying into the sun. Like, my eyes just, my brain's not used to seeing bars move up and down. My brain's used to seeing needles. So, I mean, if we were in an analog airplane, I'd be dead steady right now, because the minute that needle moves, I'm on it. Actually, the second, but still. You get the point. And this is why, you know, and this is another thing too, is people don't understand, like in the real world, to fly, there's a reason that there's different checkouts and stuff to fly glass versus steam gauges. And this is why there's all kinds of little innuendos about glass cockpits that you wouldn't think about. Like, okay, I've got my airspeed right here, my altitude here, my artificial horizon here, my VSI here, and my HSI down here. Well, what's different about it? Well, you can see what's different is you've got bars moving instead of needles. You would think that having, like on your altitude, for example, a nice digital readout, but believe it or not, you know, numbers can look similar. And when you're glancing down, like for example, you might glance down and think that we're at 6,400 instead of 5,400. It's stuff like that that your brain, I mean, if you look at 6 versus 5 on a steam gauge altimeter, it's completely different. It's not a digital readout, you know. Your brain recognizes the sight picture differently. So, getting a little bit off course. I will do a video in the future of like more pilotage and stuff like that, and we'll actually do a VFR flight. What I'll do is I'll put the camera down on like my desk or something like that, and we'll plot out a VFR flight using pilotage and the other forms of navigation, dead reckoning, pilotage, you know, stuff like that. And it really is fun. But where I'm going with that is today I'm just following the magenta line on the GPS because I got to get to work. Okay, and actually Clearfield might have even been a little far, but we're only 58 miles away. We're scooting pretty good. I've got plenty of time to finish this flight. I literally just picked a random point, honestly. And I have flown into the Clearfield airport in real life. It's actually a fun airport to get in and out of. It sits on top of a hill. Beautiful scenery. And that's one thing about Pennsylvania is I remember flying through this airspace in real life. We've got Interstate 80 up here to the north. Okay, actually if we zoom in we might even be able to see it. Yeah, that bridge right there, that's Interstate 80. But there's a lot of farmland in Pennsylvania. It really is kind of surreal. Like, you would think Pennsylvania would be very wooded and hilly. And when you drive through on the interstate, that's what you see. But when you look at the air, there's a lot of farmland. It's really weird. But anywho, so let's start thinking a little bit about Clearfield. We're only 50 miles away. We're closing in pretty good. And actually, I think what I'm going to do now, when I record these videos, I don't run off a script. I really just run off the top of my head. But a thing popping up in my head right now that I want to address is not only in VATSIM, but this happens in the real world as well, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to use, if you can see this, so we've got 52 miles to the airport, okay? I'm going to discuss accurate position reporting today. And what we're going to talk about is, in the real world, I can't tell you how many times, this is Cessna 172 over Sky Park and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they're 15 miles away from Sky Park to the south. Like, let's say this field right here, okay? Let's say this field right here was an airport, okay? I'm not over the airport. I'm like 10 miles away. Okay. This is not over, but yet I can't. I can't tell you how many pilots. This is Diamond 62 over random field. We'll be landing. Like, dude, just quit. You suck. Okay. Accurate position reporting is critical. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this as a marker. And I'm losing a little bit of altitude here because I've been chit-chatting. I haven't really been flying the airplane per se. We're going to use this, the distance to, as a guide as to how you can better make estimates as to where you are to the field if you are in a steam gauge airplane without a GPS. And there's some rules of thumbs to follow that I hope to point out. It is going to be a little bit different in the simulator because the way the computer draws and depicts the frames. But it should be pretty close. You know, like, let's say we're at 5,000 feet, which is kind of what we are. And let's say the airport's over here, okay? You can see we're about 10 miles out. And the way you depict that is, rule of thumb is, when you can make out, like, let's say you're at, like, 5,000 feet, okay? If you can make out the surrounding area where the airport is, you're about 15 to 20 miles out, okay? If you, and obviously, haze and visibility affects that. I get that. But let's say, like, okay, we're closer now. We can depict, like, the cutout in the trees where we know for a fact where the airport is. When you can start to see the outline of the airport surface area, per se, like the property of the airport, you're about 10 miles out. And when you can start to make out, like, buildings and runways of the airport distinctly, you're about 5 miles out. Like, there's just rules of thumb like that. But don't say you're over a freaking airport or over a feature. Like, let's say there's a big giant water tower. Like, let's say in this field right here. Let's say there's a big giant water tower that's a big prominent landmark that a local airport uses to identify. We're not over it right now. We are, like, to the south. Now, coming over here a little bit, like, if I was, like, the water tower's right there, okay, like, right now we would be crossing over it. Yeah, now we're over it. But it's very critical. And here's why it's critical. We're on a clear day. This is when, like I said earlier, most mid-air collisions happen. Accurate position reporting is critical. It really is. And it's not being taught. It's not being... and a big problem with the aviation community right now is you have a lot of flight instructors right now that graduated from college, and the only thing in their life they've ever flown is a Cessna 172. All they know is whatever university they flew at, their procedures. Yeah, we are in a dangerous time in aviation right now because there's so much skill that has been lost that is no longer being taught. And another problem too is, I've flown with multiple instructors, and actually, when I was finishing up my private pilot's license, I went through probably 3 different instructors, and every flight instructor had his own way of flying the airplane, and everybody else was wrong. And I was so confused that it's like everything one instructor taught me was wrong. Everything the next instructor taught me, oh no, that's wrong. That's not how you do it. This is how you do it. And then the third instructor that finally finished off my private, like, he's flying Cessna 172s like they're F-16s. Like, it's... And when I say flying them like F-16s, I'm talking like hold brakes on the runway, max, like every takeoff was like a static thrust takeoff, blah, 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 blah. And like very rough on the throttle, like, well, why are you using out the power? Get that power out, chop that throttle. It's like, but yet the instructor before said it's a throttle, not a toggle, smooth power transitions. And another instructor's, oh no, we're gonna mash the throttle, you know, yeah, get that power out of there, get that power in there, get that power out of there. And it's like, that's what aviation is, guys. That's why accidents are happening. Nobody's teaching anybody how to fly airplanes anymore. They're teaching how to be afraid of airplanes. They're teaching bad stuff. And they're not teaching fundamentals. Hey, by the way, what's happening around us? Oh, did you think about that in a minute? Nope, nope, okay. Well, let's clear the area. Is anybody coming? Nope, okay, we're still good. See, it's stuff like that that's not being taught anymore. And like I said, don't pay attention to my altitude right now. We're back up at 5,500. But, yeah, I really was more on a rant right there than I was flying the airplane. But this is the simulator. That's why I do it. So I apologize if you guys don't like to sit here and listen to me talk for like a 45-minute flight. If there's anybody watching this right now that does actually make flying videos and stuff for, like, you know, YouTube, Rumble, stuff like that, please feel free to message me. You know, I'd love to chat, pick your brain. I am starting to watch more and more other content creators' videos out there. Kind of what is it that they do? You know, it's like, what are some good ways to incorporate like music into the flight? Better, like I said, right now I'm not scripting my videos. I really am just kind of, so what I do is I just record the video. Whatever pops up in my brain is what happens. And, you know, then when I go to post the video, I come up with a title based on what happened in the flight. That's really what I do. But this is the second video that I'm posting. Yeah, I have recorded other stuff, but I'm just having so many problems with like audio. 1 minute everything's fine, the next minute everything's blown out of proportion, then you go and adjust a few things. Now I'm drowned out and the airplane's too noisy, or you don't hear the airplane at all, but you just hear me blabbing with basically a silent video. And I don't know if there's a program out there that I can purchase or something like that that will like, say when I throttle up in the airplane, will start to dim down the noise of the simulator so that I don't get drowned out and it doesn't blow your ears out at the same time. And likewise, you know, you don't just hear me blabbing, but you actually hear other things. Alright, so we're almost at Clearfield. We've only got about 24 miles to go yet. I am starting to look at some of these clouds moving in. I don't know. I have real world weather on, but I don't know if this is what's really happening or if this is just what Xplane is drawing as what's happening. Let's get a SLG. Let's look at a little bit of flyby. Oh, hey, we still got our lights on. How about that? Look at that absolutely gorgeous airplane. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, even if Clearfield is sitting in a little cloud, we're still going to land. In the real world, if I can't see the airport and it's sitting in a cloud, we're going somewhere else, but I got to get going to work. So we're landing. Actually, let's look over the nose a little bit. I wonder if we can start to see the airport somewhere. That's not it. It's gonna be like up here in the clouds. Gosh darn it. Why is this doing to me? Like, when I put out this flight, like, I checked the weather, and it was sky clear all across. Why are these clouds being drawn? It is not fair. But, you know, it's something that does happen in the real world. You know, and that's the other thing, too, I want to chat at real quick, is remember this other rule of thumb. Weather does what weather does best, and that's change. Okay? It's not... you don't own the weather. Nobody owns the weather. It does what it wants to do, okay? And it's going to do what it wants to do. So, the weather very much, oftentimes, will tell you to pound salt because it does not care. And that looks like what is happening to us. But if this was the real world, honestly, what I'd be doing right now is I'd be looking at these other airports as an option. Because it looks like Clearfield is going to be fogged in. And I think that's what's happening, is I don't think there's really clouds here. I think that Xplane's just trying to draw like low-level fog, and that's the way it's depicting the low-level fog. But still, even fog, it's visibility, you know, still IFR conditions if it's right. So, hey, if visibility's not 3 statute miles, you know. Although technically, if it's Class G, it's 1 mile, but is Clearfield a Class G airport? I don't know, I don't know. Oh, come on, there we go. No, I don't want that airport. Yeah, Clearfield's actually a Class G airport, so. Well, it's got a magenta vignette. Okay, so it goes, the Class E airspace goes down to like 700 feet, whatever, but. So we could technically we could scoot in at 500 AGL. But still, the weather minima for Class G is 1 mile clear, 1 mile visibility, clear clouds. Well, does fog count as a cloud? Yeah. It obscures visibility. So yeah, if this were the real world, I would honestly be scrubbing Clearfield right now and just going to another option. That's what I would do. But this is the sim, so let's have fun. Who knows? You know, honestly, like, maybe this will go horribly wrong and I'll crash. And take it as a real world lesson. Don't go airport hunting. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. My gosh, I tell you what, you know, good game, definitely good game to Aerobask. They, what a great airplane this is. This is beautiful. Alright, what I'm gonna do here is, let's see if Clearfield just has any approaches. Procedure, enter, RNAV, GPS. Let's do the LPV RNAV 30. Let's go to Ibumi. Enter. No. Load. Alright, there's that. Why are we turning? I don't know what happened there, why we're turning. But whatever. We were flying straight and level. So, Clearfield traffic, Diamond DA62 Delta Tango, 5 to the west inbound, RNAV 30, Clearfield. And our airspeed's getting into the yellow, so we'll back off the power. But we're fine being in the yellow airspeed. I mean, the air is smooth. We're still good. I don't know what the weather is here at Clearfield, but I'm just going to go online on my tablet that I have here and just type in Clearfield METAR. Altimeter 3001. Okay. Similar altimeter. 3001. Okay. And actually what we'll do is flight plan, direct 2. No. Where's clear? Clear. There we go. Push the cursor on. Ibumi direct 2. Activate. There. Okay, so now this is taking us to Ibumi. And I hit no if I wanted to fly the course reversal. I should have hit yes, but whatever. We'll do a more instrument. Why is this zooming? This is really starting to annoy me. And I know it's not the airplane, it's my computer doing it. Like, it's the way my keyboard and, like, I want to turn that screen stuff off. See, this is that. So what's happening over here with the random zooming is exactly why I don't like computers. This is the would you like to renew your Office 365 subscription stuff that I'm talking about. Coming down, coming down, coming down. So the airport today sits at 1,500 feet, so we use 2,500 for a TPA. And this is taking us out really freaking far. So we'll go ahead and start turning a base here. Get the power out. Because look, we're 10 miles out. We don't need to be 10 miles out, 2,000 feet. We'll still go to traffic pattern altitude, but yeah, no. Okay, I don't know what the heck is going on here. Power idle. Yeah, if this were the real world, not only would we be in violation right now, but see, that's what's weird is I don't know why. Let's go back to the weather here. Yeah, 10 statute miles. So the airport should be like right underneath us. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll overfly the field here. And actually winds are 230, so yeah, runway 30 makes good. So what we'll do is we'll just stay within visual range of the airport. Hey, there's Interstate 80 right there. Just do kind of a sharp turn here. And we'll just come in this way. I'm not making radio calls right now because nobody's up in a Piper, excuse me, nobody's up in a Piper Cub, stuff like that right now. Not in this weather. And if they are, the radio's no good anyway, so. And if anybody's getting ready to take off, well, they better have a radio. I get it, emergencies happen. But right now is more, it's a simulator, I need to get to work. This is a quick video, kind of an audio test, honestly. / rant / I just wanted to make another video. Show you all that, anybody even interested in the channel, that, you know, yes, I am still trying to put out content when I can. Man, this is such a slippery airplane. It really does not like to slow down very well. Very fuel efficient airplane. Alrighty. You're not supposed to do this, okay, but flaps 1. You're not really supposed to put your flaps out in a turn in case of asymmetrical, whatchamacallit. And we'll go ahead and throw the gear down too, because why not? And flaps
500.
I really love the synthetic vision.
400.
And the runway should be in front of us. There it is, runway in sight.
$200. 100.
'And beautiful touchdown. Welcome to Clearfield. Do we have to go all the way to the bleeping end? Ugh. I'm not going all the way to the end. We're turning around right here. We're turning around! And again, I'm not on the radio because nobody else is out, so. Let's gun it! Alright, here's a taxiway. We can go ahead and get our flaps up. Don't need those anymore. And, you know, like they teach, like, oh, don't clean up the airplane or anything until you're off the runway. Listen, if I'm like 10 knots on the ground, back taxing and whatnot, why not get the flaps out? Like, when your stuff's hanging out is when it has the chance on getting caught on stuff, you know? We can turn our pitot heat off. Ah, what the hell? There's nobody here. We'll get our lights off. All right. I'm just gonna come over here. So, as typical, just as typical, the airport, like the runway and the taxiways, seem to be the right layout, but the buildings are off from what I remember being at this airport. The buildings are off. So we'll just do with what Xplane 12 has drawn us. And we'll just come over here. But this airplane is such a joy to fly. We're going to be doing more serious flights in this thing. Definitely going to do some IFR in this airplane. I'm going to read up more on kind of what the actual procedures are for the Diamond and go from there. I'm just doing this view because reasons. And we'll just come over here and park it. Actually, I'll park over here because I want to. All right, and there is that. And we're stopped and get our parking brake on. Our transponder, I guess we can throw it off. Avionics master off. I don't know whether to turn the engine masters off or starve the fuel. We'll starve the fuel because that's what we do in every other airplane with the mixture, so. Off. Off. Well, those shut off kind of quick. Okay. Engine masters off. Strobes off. Master switch off. Hey, we're here! You know, I like that about airplanes. Like, to start airplanes, it's all ceremonious and all these, different checklist items. And then, ooh, what's this? Powering down. Unit will shut off. Well, that's cool that they modeled that. That's cool. Actually, we can go ahead and hit off. Look at that, was cool that they modeled that. So, we're here in Clearfield. Hope you guys enjoyed the flight. Yeah, like I said, hope to make better videos in the future. Definitely will be making better videos in the future. But for right now, I'm still learning. Um, Learning kind of the ins and outs of video making. I really want to learn how to really capture good audio, balanced audio. Um, I do want to mess around with some camera settings, get better flyby views and stuff like that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I do got to get going to work. So hope you enjoyed the stream and hope to see you back. Ta-ta for now.